Alright, so if you're one of the few, like me, that's going to be going through with the expedition yet again, you don't need tips. But maybe you're just starting out, unsure what to do for the next 9 days as of recording this video. Now, if you've got any type of legendary weapon, the blueprint for it, or you got the Aphelion from the trader, because even if you didn't have the blueprint, it's easy to find as far as the blueprint goes, but the Aphelion was purchasable through Ermal. Wasn't overly hard to get the items, it's just finding them and then trading them in. So you would have access to a legendary weapon. So for the next 9 days, what you do is you go into the harvester, and this is tip 1. You go into the harvester, you don't worry about the queen, you do the harvester. That whole top area with all the breaches where the canisters are, each one of those containers has energy ammo in it. So every chance you get in there, farm the harvester, and get out with as much energy ammo as you can. If the queen's still alive and has farmable pieces on it, and you want to risk it, attack the queen and try to get some cores. After all, if you're successful and you come out with some cores, you can then build more legendary weapons. Because if you're the only one in there doing the harvester, you're going to get those blueprints. So you'll have access to the Jupiter, you'll have access to the Equalizer, and if you run Stella any length of time, you have the blueprint for the Aphelion. But doing the harvester gets you, Jupiter, Equalizer, whatever. So you farm the harvester, and you just keep going in and out, grabbing as much energy ammo as you can. I've got a nice good stockpile here to go along with my legendary weapons. So then you don't have to buy ammo from Tianwen. You don't have to craft it. You've got 9 days to hit the harvester every chance you get. And then, bam, you've got ample ammo. You've got the weapons. You go in and start taking out the big stuff. Now, my second tip to you would be use the trials as well as map conditions to your advantage. Now, we'll take this week for an example. This week had a trial of damage flying enemies inside spaceport walls. So with my type of lobby, mainly trials hunters, a lot of PvE, where do you think most of the lobby was? Yep, inside space walls. So when I loaded in on a hidden bunker, I had the bastions and the bombardiers to myself. And I was able to kill them, wait for them to respawn, and kill them again. Did that multiple times, found my closest exit, and I left. Hidden bunker doesn't have hatches, so I had to be mindful of the time and how far I had to travel to get out with everything that I had gotten from farming a couple rotations of bastions and bombardiers. So if you've got that, you could use that to your advantage. Like if, let's say, you're on a locked gate event. Locked gate and hidden bunker are the ones that have an extra 10 minutes to the time. Let's say you get a trial that's, damage rocketeers or something like that on Blue Gate. You could go and farm the bombardiers that spawn down there in the, controlled zone. Right in front of the Blue Gate. You could just wait for them to respawn, take them out. Or go down to Raider's Refuge and keep farming the one that's down there. Now, Bombardiers are a little bit squishier than Bastions, so they don't take as much time. And they also can be easily taken out with a deadline. They're very good for farming the damage points you need for the expedition. Now, another tip that I have, if you don't have the blueprint for the deadline, you have a couple of days here to go to Apollo and buy his deadline every single day. You know, granted, it's a good 18K, but you can use your money from the extra stuff you bring out of the raid and buy this every day. And then you can create a stockpile of that. Or if you have the blueprint, go comet hunting. Hunting comets gives you most of what you need to make deadlines. Just go to Blue Gate during an electro storm or a night raid. Makes them easier to see. Bring a couple of seekers, just throw them in the direction. 2 or 3 seekers takes them out. Or, you know, load in with a decent weapon with a high enough magazine and just gun it down as it's coming towards you. Then take that core, take the refined explosives, and pop it in your pile. Then you can come in and craft deadlines. It's what I've been doing. I've been buying them, I've been crafting them, I've been finding them. Same with wolf packs. I don't craft wolf packs, I've been finding them. But when it comes to wolf packs, what you can do is you can go in on an electromagnetic storm, go either to Dam or Spaceport, and search every Rocketeer husk you find. You have a higher chance that a Rocketeer driver will be in one of the husks. Then you can come and craft them, provided you have the blueprint. So you have 8 days. Stock up. Now, once the window opens, and you have your stockpile from farming the harvester, creating explosives, even just making seeker nades. Once the window opens, what you're going to want to do is to pay attention to the map conditions that are up. One good one would be the dam on either an electromagnetic storm or a night raid. Now, I say that because there is a bombardier that always spawns near water treatment. Bombardiers are very easy to walk up behind, either with a photogenic cloak or just by walking, and you can plant a deadline on them. One deadline will take them out. You then want to rotate. Like if we go to the map, 4 Dam Battlegrounds, you're going to take out your bombardier here. You know, in this area, there will always be a bombardier. There's going to be a bastion either here or in here. You can have zip lines or a crap load of adrenaline shots beeline from this dead bombardier here up to here. There's usually a bastion up here. You could take that bastion out, and by the time that bastion is done, you rotate back and you take out a bombardier again. That bastion can also spawn here in hydroponic. When you figure out where they are, you just cycle the spawns. Every 8 to 10 minutes, sometimes 12, depending on whether or not turbines spawn in. They're going to come back. You can get 2, sometimes 3 cycles in a raid, provided you've got your movement good enough. You make like a zipline train to get from point A to point B, sometimes C. If let's say you're up here killing this bastion and you hear this one. Like if you hear somebody fighting here, don't worry about that one. Take out the one you're fighting here, go back to here and wait. Take out that bombardier. As you're doing that, you go back here, wait for the other one to spawn. But be mindful of your exit points. Night raids and electromagnetic storms, your final ones can either be down here, up here, or sometimes it's Red Lakes. You're not going to have hatches in those modes. So keep an eye on the clock and how far you have to go. Once you feel you've got enough damage, get out. That way, you're saving your weapon. You're living to fight another day. You can do that easily on damn battlegrounds. But say you get a good locked gate. When you're on blue gate here, go back, go back. When you're on blue gate, a bombardier is going to spawn here. Or it's going to be up here by the warehouse on like a locked gate. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be down here. On regular day raids, there's always going to be a bastion down in here. So you could farm that. But there's also going to be shredders, comets, pops, things like that that can spawn. But if you go in on a locked gate, you're going to have a bombardier here, and usually there's a bombardier down here. You could split your time going between the two and farming them. You know, you could bring lure grenades to get the attention of the spotters, go up, plant a deadline, run to cover. You could make a little zipline train from point A to point B. Top end of the map, unless you want to go after Rocketeers to try and get more drivers, it wouldn't be as worth it for you to go up here. So you could just keep going in between here and here, cycling the spawns for the 40 minutes you've got for a locked gate. Now when it comes to spaceport, say you get lucky and you get a hidden bunker like I had earlier today. There's going to be, back here behind departure, a bombardier, a bastion, and a bastion. Sometimes you've got all three. If you've got that, that's good. You can set up shop. There's little houses back here, or little like buildings, two really close to each other. And there's these little like domes that you can also use for cover. You can drag the bastions to you, and then you can take them out while taking cover inside the building. Because after all, your goal is to create damage. Your goal isn't to loot. So you're already going in kitted with energy ammo, hull cracker ammo, and you're just going to destroy stuff, and you're waiting for it to respawn. And then once it respawns, you're going to take it out again. But still, keep in mind, because there's no hatches during the hidden bunker, where your exit points are. This is a very common one that is your last, but sometimes you can get lucky and this is your last. If this is your last spawn, you stay here as long as possible. And you just destroy stuff over and over again. The little flying arc that spawns in, the bastions, the bombardiers. You know, use your map conditions to your advantage. Use what you've been able to get over the course of the next 9 days to your advantage. And go after the big stuff. You know, if you're feeling cocky, you can go after vaporizers and rocketeers. But the attack patterns of the bastion and the bombardier aren't hard to work around. And provided you've got cover to work with, like I have killed a bombardier. I've killed bombardiers from the cover in here. I've killed bombardiers from the library, just shooting across. I've shot at them from the Galleria and taken them out. But there's another area up here where a bastion can spawn. Down this main streetish area where the hatch and the hospital are. There are pillars here by this entry point to the subway. And I've kited a bastion all around those pillars. Just making it move from side to side while I'm slowly taking out its legs. It's time consuming, but it does a lot of damage. And if push comes to shove and something bad happens, you've got the exit right there. You've also got the hatch here, depending on what map condition you're in. Because we don't have the 2 times multiplier, so it doesn't make a difference. If there's regular stuff that spawns, like a map that spawns big stuff on a regular basis, and you can cycle it and take it out every time it spawns, that's what you want to focus on. Day raids on Buried can have bastions, bombardiers, all over. There's a few spots. Like your bombardier can be here on top of the parking garage. Your bastion can be patrolling this area here. Your bastion can also be in the park. Same with your bombardier. They can be in here. They can also be down south here in this area here. Patrolling the main street, doing this park. You've got some cover with the houses. You know, if it's a active lobby, you could go in here and do what you need to do to take them out. Like your goal is to get as much ammunition as possible, enough explosives as possible, and you within a few raids, provided you get decent lobbies. You're not going to want to try and do this in a PvP style lobby. You know, if that's your play style, it's going to take a lot of humans to get 100,000. You know, just keep that in mind. If you want the 5 mystery blueprints, try and do your best to take it down. And then once you get your 100K, do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what you enjoy doing. But that's what I got to give you. Just use the maps to your advantage. Cycle your spawns. Take the next couple of days to farm ammunition and explosives. And you'll be golden. You know, get yourself a nice stockpile of weapons. Like I've got all this energy ammo. I've got all these weapons. You know, these are all weapons that I have found, leveled up. Some I've put attachments on, some I haven't. I've got plenty of hull crackers. I've got ample funds. You know, I can buy ammunition even though I'm pretty sure I won't need to. Between the legendaries that I already have, the amount of energy ammo that I've farmed so far, as well as the deadlines that I've already made and bought from Apollo, which I'll add to over the course of the next 9 days, I'll have more than enough here to do what I need to do to get the 100,000 damage and get my mystery blueprints. So just do your best, do a good bit of farming, make sure your weapons are taken care of, you've got ample shields. If you're lucky enough to have survivors, you know, get you a couple of survivors ready, bunch of shields, have a good chunk of heals, because you could also go in and buy 10 herbals a day from Lance. You can buy the bigger shield rechargers. These you can unlimitedly buy, you know, if you don't have the stuff to craft them. But go ahead and do what you need to do. Get yourself a good stockpile, and when that window opens, get out there and fuck up the big shit. I'll catch you later.